Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right, shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation, man. We up in this thing representing the Coma. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fan. We up in this thing. Shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation. Big ups to the fam. Man, we up in this thing, man. What a hell of a week in it has been. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saints, Pels. Very eventful New Orleans weekend. And we just keep it going, man. A very interesting draft as well, fam, that occurred. We'll be recapping that thing right now in this stream. So please feel free to hit the like button. Please feel free to hit the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. Feel free to share the show on your social media feed. And if you're on Twitter, listen to us, kindly give us a retweet. We appreciate it. So shout out to the fam. Appreciate everybody for being in the stream. And like I said, we're going to talk about the draft, recap the draft. Also, we're going to look at the NFC South, the grades that some people are giving the NFC South. We're also going to go over the list of undrafted players. We're going to look at that and also take a look at some of the invitees and the unofficial depth chart. So we're going to do quite a few things in this episode of the Coma. So y'all just kick back and we're going to get this thing going. So much love to the fam. We up in this thing. Big ups to everybody, man. Good to see y'all in the stream. Brother Trey is in this thing. King Chosen One, much love. Good to see you. Brother Trey in this thing. Much love. Good to see you, fam. Mr. Fire D. Christopher. Shout out to you, my dog, Molly Mall. OG Jerry is in this thing as well. What's up, Ultra Remo? How you doing, fam? Appreciate you as well. Brother Gundam is in this thing. Big ups to you. Queen Dana. Shout out to my queens out there. Good to see y'all in the chat as well. Big ups to everybody, man. And I ain't got, you know what, fam? Let me do this right quick because I want to know this as well. And I got to get better about kind of getting the family members to kind of give me a result, you know, a poll result. Let me give me just a second. Let me put this up here because I want to know. I want to know what you guys think about this draft, man. Give me a second. Let me put the poll up and tell me what I want to know what you guys think about the draft. I'm going to get your grade. See what your grade is here. Yeah, I want to know what you guys think about this draft here. Yeah, because it was a pretty interesting draft. Some positions I didn't think they would go to, but they did. You know, so shout out to them for doing that as well. And they handled the biz, man. So I'm gonna put that up there in the chat for the family members to chime in with. Y'all feel free when y'all chime in to kind of let me know what y'all think about the Saints draft. what grade would you give the Saints for the draft? So anyway, what's up, Bron? Shout out to Bron's for being in the building, man. Saints did have a very interesting draft. They backed it up with 15 signings and a couple of invitees. That's going to happen in May, around getting close to May, after May the 10th. They have the invitee situation and similar, like a little camp type situation where they kind of see what some of these guys look like. And we get into the, not the start, but you start seeing some of the players come in and the Saints take a look at them. So shout out to Niles Carpenter at the WhoDatDaily.com. That's our sports site where we cover a lot of sports. Saints add undrafted college free agents to bolster team depth. And Niles wrote this one. What was that? Yesterday? No, okay. He submitted it earlier today. All right. The Saints have made a significant move by agreeing to terms with several undrafted free agents. And man, they had quite a few of them, man. So a lot of different ones. He speaks about it include some various backgrounds and positions, promising to add depth and fresh dynamics to the team. And the highlight signing was Nathan Latu, who's a defensive end from Oklahoma State, known for his ability to pressure quarterbacks. TCU safety Millard Bradford, who demonstrated some versatility in his college career as well. And then, of course, he talks about the offensive talents like wide receiver Jermaine Jackson from Idaho, Mason Tipton from Yale, which is a guy I was talking about. I was trying to put on you guys' radar during the draft about Mason Tipton. Is a pretty interesting prospect, very productive. He's undersized, but has good speed. Like I said, just a solid wide receiver, undersized, but interesting. All right. Thank you, Brother Omar, for the super chat. Raiders fan, you guts lucky to have DC. We have nothing. While he's no Brady fan, need to relax. QB don't grow on trees. Okay, I get what you're saying. We have a dumb owner. Okay, all right, Omar. All right, he's saying Derek Carr. You're lucky. All right, appreciate you, Omar. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Appreciate that. In the Who Dat Nation, man, we are, I know from the Raiders family, the support base for the Raiders look at Derek Carr a lot different than we do. We just had access to him for just 1 year. But I know Derek Carr owns a ton of records for the Raiders. I mean, he has some of the he got the yardage, I think touchdowns, yards, and all that. I think he got like a lot of the Raiders statistics. He was there for what, 10 years, 9 years, 10 years, whatever it was. But he was there long enough and played enough games and threw enough passes where he was able to get a lot of statistics there in Raiderland. And they have a total different view of Derek Carr than we do. The Who Dat Nation doesn't see Derek Carr as a savior. We don't see him as such because we understand what quarterback play looks like, because we was fortunate enough to have a very long time of seeing QB excellence and play at the highest level with Drew Brees. He wasn't perfect, but he was a tireless perfectionist in many cases. He was a quarterback that wanted to get it right. He was personable, intelligent, worked with everybody. Even when he pissed somebody off, like he said what he said, he was able to work himself back and kind of understand things and kind of, he's a man of the people type of cat. People love and respect the hell out of Drew Brees. So when Derek Carr comes from the Raiders to the Saints, that's a whole nother thing. We do not compare him to Drew Brees because that's not fair. But we do understand and look for certain traits that quarterbacks are supposed to have when they put that black and gold helmet on. So he'll be held to a higher standard. He took a lot of flack last year because he was saying things and doing things that he didn't and wasn't supposed to be doing. And he didn't take not necessarily all of the credit that he was supposed to take, blaming people, doing all this kind of crap. Didn't look good. So hopefully with a new offensive coordinator, we can get him to, to play better, to help out earlier so we can have success earlier and not take all of the season to get toward the back end before we start seeing some type of consistency. And not, like I said, it's not totally on Derek Carr. The Saints couldn't consistently have a running attack. that really helped the man. You know, he didn't know too much of the plays, but he got to play better. Everybody got to play better. That's damn for sure. But thank you for that, Omar. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, a lot of people won't agree with luckiness, man. They don't grow on trees. You're right, but that is the job of each and every coach. You got to find you one, and there are some out there. There are some out there. All right. So anyway, let's finish up here on this list right here. All right, where was I? Okay, Mason Tipton from Yale set to bring some catching talents to the Saints in the aerial attack. Jermaine Jackson, despite a downturn in his latest season, has shown potential as a return specialist, adding value. On the other hand, Tipton dazzled in his final year with some impressive stats, showcasing his speed. The inclusion of Colorado State tight end Dalen Holker excelled from transferring from the BYU team, further boost the team's offensive options, particularly in the red zone where his size and catching ability could be crucial. The Saints also have focused on enhancing special teams and defensive depth. Matthew Highball from Vanderbilt will bring his Australian-style punting technique, which could prove to be a strategic asset in controlling field position. On the defensive side, players like Kyler Ba, a sturdy defensive tackle from Minnesota, and Isaiah Stallbird, a versatile linebacker from South Dakota State, expected to contribute significantly. These signings reflect the Saints' commitment to build a well-rounded team. So anyway, the list of undrafted people, as you see right here for the Saints: Nathan Latu, a defensive end from Oklahoma State; Millard Bradford, the safety from TCU. It's a lot of positive things about Millard Bradford. And the thing is, like I said, he has an opportunity, man. And he has some talent if you watch him. And of course, the Saints might bring in some more people as we get down, because some guys, they might not work out. Some guys might get hurt. So it's a constant give and get. You'll see one guy fall off, another, come here, and then other guy leave, the other one arrive. So it'll be, some flux going on with the roster until we get really into when things start to count. But Millard Bradford was the safety the Saints picked up, and perhaps with our undrafted guys, there's always a great potential for some of these undrafted guys to grab a position. They're cheap and they play at a higher value. They can earn a position on the Saints team, especially under the economic circumstances the Saints are currently under. A good undrafted college free agent could really make a career here. We've seen some guys undrafted. Rashid Shaheed's an ultimate one. JT Gray. These guys are Pro Bowl undrafted college free agents. So Millard Bradford has an opportunity there to kind of climb in and see what he can do. So it'll be interesting to see that. Wide receiver Jermaine Jackson from Idaho, Collar Ba, the defensive tackle from Minnesota, Highball, which is the punter from Vanderbilt, and we knew with our kicker from last year, it was like, this dude here, man, he started out good, but kind of waned a bit. And we know he's going into his second year, but definitely having some more punter competition there. And I was looking at him punt, and this guy could take the position away from the one we got now. It might be a one hitter quitter for the guy we got if he don't sharpen up. All right, Dalen Holker the tight end from Colorado State is actually a pretty good tight end. He's actually a pretty good tight end. A lot of potential there with that guy. Good size on him. He can block. He can catch. His route running ain't all that bad either. But he's a guy that could kind of step this thing up. We always look at getting solid tight ends, in the undrafted ranks. Our wide receivers, Mason Tipton, from Yale, very productive, undersized wide receiver with skills. Was really impressed. Thought he might get drafted. Fell through the cracks. The Saints get him. This could be something. Kyle Sheets, another wide receiver from Slippery Rock. How about that? Kyle Hergel, he's a guard from from Boston College. The Rico Payton is a cornerback from Pittsburgh State. Isaiah Stallbird, the linebacker from South Dakota State. Lawrence Johnson, the DB from Southeast Missouri State, is there. Jacob Cabody, the running back from La Lafayette, I watched a lot of film on this kid, being local, like what he can do. Hope it's always one. The Saints get one good running back actually in this draft. You got to watch out for the one undrafted running back. And this guy could play, man, from a small school in Louisiana, man. But he could play, man. Got good size, got some power to him. He got a little catch of the ball right there. So it would be interesting to see where he goes. And we got a Tulane prospect there, Sincere Hainsworth, the center from Tulane. A lot of games for him, a lot of snaps for him there as well. And then the guard, Nori Noili. I hope I'm saying that right. Guard from Nebraska, very interesting prospect he is as well. So the Saints had 15 undrafted players to go along with the depth positions. We talked a lot about the wide receiver position needing some additional help. So they do add a couple of wide receivers to go along with the one that they have currently. We talked about having some safety help. They had one safety there. We got we did get a couple of defensive backs to go the challenge in the secondary room. We have a defensive line prospect there as well. They come in and kind of help out in terms of trying to make the team with Kyle Baugh. The tight end is really interesting, and the defensive ends, Nathan Latu is very interesting to see what he could do. And the offensive line was a key thing that we were looking at. So they get the guards and Kyle Hergel, and they get the backup center and Sincere Hainsworth and Nuri Nuili. I hope I'm saying that right. Probably not. But anyway, that's some of the guys that we got here, man. In terms of the undrafted guys that the Saints put together for the team. So anyway, now we keep it going, man. We're going to go into, let's take a look back at the entire draft for the black and gold. These are some of the players that are having an immediate impact on the team. We talked about Fuaga having an opportunity to step in, whatever guard position it is. We'll see where they got going on there. Whatever guard side it is, whether it's the right side or the left side, it depends on what Clint Kubiak wants to do. And with John Benton, they'll all come together to decide on where these guys are going to play, whether Fuaga's going to play on the right side or the left side, Penning, whatever. Because Benton could very well say, since he was over there, you want to keep him there. Me, I would kind of just switch him to have a fresh look, to have a new, fresh situation. I would put Fuaga on the left side. I know he played a lot of right side, but I would try him at the left side and put Penning on the opposite side, because watching how Penning played that left side, he just crashed and burned so badly. I want to have a mental reset with him by having him to play a more comfortable position, putting him on that right side, so we can just kind of reset that thing a bit and then go from there. And then that'll be your bookend tackles there for the next how many years, because the reality is Ryan Ramczyk he's probably not going to be able to play or get back to the season with that rehab situation. That bum knee is a very bad knee for him, because they were saying it's threatening. It's actually career threatening. It's that bad. So I have very little faith that Ramczyk will make it back in time to play. And if he does make it back to play, that knee will get tested, because the system that Kubiak wants to implement requires offensive linemen to move and shift. So that could be problematic for a bad knee for Ryan Ramczyk. So like I suggested, that Ryan Ramczyk just needs to go head on and chill out. He just needs to go head on, get the major surgery and not the minor surgery, and go sit down and then work your way back, man. Don't put your body at harm like that. If you can help it, go take care of yourself. But either way, Fuaga and Penning are going to be the guys. I was telling people that early on during the season, a lot of people said, Q, you should get from under Penning. And I was telling people it doesn't make any sense to do that, because you don't trade a player. I mean, he has not even realized his potential. He hadn't shown anything. It's not like you had a player that flashed and showed you, man, they played their asses off for a stretch of games, and this player is this good, and you got that little bit of sample size serving to trade him. There was nothing that you can use or go to implement any decent type of trade. You wouldn't have got nothing for him. And that's the first thing. The second thing is, Mickey Loomis would never give you the satisfaction of trading Penning so you can sit up there and say, Penning, look at them, they screwing up the picks. Look, they drafted this guy and then traded them not even 3 years into his career. What are we doing here? That guy was that bad. They'll never give you that. That's not. I should have put that number one. That should have went number one. So in a way, I knew Penning would be the guy that would be the opposite tackle. Now, Dennis Allen wasn't committal about which side they would be on because they asked him about that in the press conference after they selected him, and he wouldn't commit on either side. He said it was overrated. The right side, left side was overrated. And I just whatever, dude. Whatever, man. It's not overrated. The left side, the right side, the blind side's very important. You ain't gonna be saying that shit during the season if you make the wrong move, and then them defensive ends rolling up from the blind side, blasting Derek Carr down into the ground, and he fumbling every damn way, and then he nervous and he gets that deer in the headlight look. You won't think it's overrated then. You better make the right decision on who these guys are gonna be or where they're gonna play at. And I think he don't know because he's going to leave all that in the hands of Clint Kubiak. I don't know if I said Gary, but Clint Kubiak to make the decision on who plays where. But estimation wise, I'm thinking that you'll see both Penning and Fuaga at the tackle positions. You'll see Ali Udo at the other guard position. And then this is McCoy, Ruiz, and, that type of thing. So, but yeah, that's how I see it. Because I mean, it's very simple. There's no competition right now to kind of impose or say that this won't be the case. Hirsch retired, and that kind of opened up Ali Udo for a guard position. So anyway, let's keep it pushing, man. The next one is in the second round was Kool-Aid McKinstry. Kool-Aid McKinstry, a lot of people like you, why did they give up several picks to move up to go get Kool-Aid McKinstry? We didn't need a corner. And I disagreed. I said, family, when in essence, before we was in the mock drafts, the early in the week before the draft into the after the first round of the day, I was like, man, we need a cornerback because the three cornerbacks you have, somebody's going to get banged up. And when they do, you're going to have to take the fourth cornerback and he becomes an instant starter. See, we got to remember that they start 96, 97% of the time, the modified nickel package with three cornerbacks out there at all times. So when that happens, and if somebody gets banged up, that fourth cornerback becomes an immediate starter. So Kool-Aid McKinstry, not only just that, but he also provides insurance just in case somebody gets disgruntled and wants to leave, or if they can't afford to pay a certain player because they're in a cap strap mode. 2025 Paulson Adebo, perhaps. It's an insurance policy. It works doubly well either way. Things got to keep flowing because some guy might be like, man, I don't want to stay here no more because I don't believe in such and such or this, that, and the third. It happens. That's why I say when you have fractures in the team, like we've seen happen with the Saints over the last couple of years, when you start seeing these off-code behaviors happen at the administrator level, the coaches level, that causes fractures in the team, and players they feel a certain kind of way that they can't buy in. It's a low faith factor. That's why you see a lot of this stuff happening with disgruntlement between players that's on the team, and then you see them firing off on social media. Certain guys got arrested because it wasn't handled correctly. There wasn't a lot of reservation going on or, any troubleshooting going on in the Saints building. And nobody would, Mick Lubins has his door closed because he's not a real general manager. He's a VP masquerading as a general manager. He's not troubleshooting anything. He's not talking to anybody during the season. Who's troubleshooting? Who's talking to somebody? Nobody talking. When guys get off code, they break rules. Who fixes it? It don't. That's like several players, I won't say no names, but saying during the season, like they'll see stuff going on, like guys is false starting practice and nobody's saying nothing. But you're having all these Hall of Fame ass practices though. That's why I applaud Clint Kubiak coming here, because I want to see what he can do. And when I played the interview at the start of Saturday's show, I started the show off playing Clint Kubiak's interview. And he was saying that they need to establish an identity. And I agree wholeheartedly. The Saints had no identity last year to rely upon. What good is having all the talent and you don't know how to properly use them? So he wants to implement more of a ground focused attack. And I applaud that, because that is the strongest room you have. The running back room in terms of the offense is the strongest room you have. It's the strongest, hands down, the strongest room that you could be relied upon, because you have Elvin in there, you got Jamal Williams in there, you got Kendre Miller in there, then you throw Taysom in there. Taysom is also in that room. So you can heavily rely upon that. You can mix and match. You can do what you want to do. So I applaud his philosophy and want to establish more of a run-based attack. And his words were, they want to run against 8-man fronts. Let's see it. In order to do that, we got to get the offensive line together. So back to Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think it's a solid pickup for the Saints. Very talented player with a future starter potential. He'll definitely get some games to step in this upcoming season, because rarely you're going to see a season where all of your cornerbacks come out and they don't miss any games. So like I said, it was a solid signing. I appreciate that signing. Then we jump from the 2nd to the 5th round. I was thanking the Saints after they traded up a couple of picks to go and get Kool-Aid McKinstry. I figured that they'll probably take a pick or two to see if they can package up to move into the 4th round. No, sir. The Saints sat there and watched the 3rd pass. And then when the 3rd day started, they watched the 4th round pass, and they used all the 5th round picks where they belong. And in the first of the 1st round picks, they took a quarterback, Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler is a guy that I watched in college. I wasn't particularly impressed with Spencer Rattler. I thought there were other better quarterbacks that would fit what we attempted to do, that was available. They, of course, the Saints felt a little differently, but he does have some potential, and I'm gonna just wait to see what Clint Kubiak does with him, because to me, he looks to have some athleticism. He's tough as hell out there. I haven't seen hits where he gets blown the hell up, pops right back up, dusts himself off, and go in the huddle. He can make the throws. He don't have a super arm, but he got a good enough arm to get the ball up the field. His accuracy is not bad. He's a smart quarterback too. He thinks about the game, and he has potential, a lot of potential. And I'm thinking maybe I just didn't like how he looked in South Carolina, but he was able to get the ball a lot to Xavier Ledet. That was his top target down there. So he was able to move around, and that South Carolina team wasn't all that. That offensive line, I went back and looked at the field. The offensive line wasn't all that, and he was heavily relied upon to make plays, and in the SEC. So his numbers are okay, and like I said, where the Saints get him, where they got him early in his college career, he was a quarterback that a lot of people felt like would eventually be a number 1 pick. But Caleb Williams came along when he was out there with whatchamacallit. And then Caleb Williams took the path that a lot of people thought Spencer Rattler would have took. He became the first overall quarterback, Caleb Williams did, and Spencer fell all the way to the 5th round. So he has a chip on his shoulder. He feels like he's better than what he's, better prospect than what people anticipating. Clint Kubiak thinks he's that guy, and you might have a case. There was a comment that somebody sent me in a comment section, man, and I was actually pretty impressed by it, man. The guy, the comment, whoever, I forgot the commenter, but shout out to you. He said he looked at him, and he's the first person that I've seen try to compare Spencer Rattler's style to Patrick Mahomes. He said he kind of has a Mahomes look to him, and I'm not talking not looks wise, but he's made his game to a degree of what he could possibly be. Now, like I said, he can throw the ball at different angles. He can make the accurate throws, and he can get out of trouble. He's not super athletic, but he can get out of trouble. But I respect his high IQ. He does have a high football IQ, and he's serious about learning and picking up the game. So we'll see what Clint Kubiak can do with Spencer Rattler. Perhaps he can maybe he's seen a little Brock Purdy in Spencer Rattler. I don't know what Clint looking at, but man, I'm willing to be patient to see what he can do, because they took him with the 1st to the 5th round picks. All right, moving on to pick 35 or 170, Bub Means. We talked about Bub yesterday. Before he was picked, actually, it was 3 wide receivers. KT came on, our scout. We kind of threw some names out at him. I think we talked about Bub Means from Pittsburgh, And what he is, a lot of people feel, I heard a couple of references, some people mention like Colston, not in terms of size, but in toughness and catching the ball and stuff. And if you watch the film on Bub Means, that one word comes out about his play, and that's physicality. Physicality, baby. That's what pop up. And he can really dig in there and take off too. And he's a good catcher of the ball. So like I said, he can do better in selling his routes and whatnot than working on his footwork, because he's not drastically off there. But Bub Means brings speed and physicality, good catcher of the ball there. And he was very excited to be a Saint, man. And listen, his style of play, the city of New Orleans will appreciate it. It's a gritty blue collar style of play that we like to see our wide receivers do, catching the tough passes and getting up the field. So to have another wide receiver that has some, 6'1", they got a little size to him and some speed and some fit and some toughness, we can appreciate that all the time to add more flair to that wide receiver room. And then behind him, the last of the fifth-round picks was Jalen Ford, the linebacker out of Texas, over 200 tackles over the last 2 years. I need to say more about that guy. Jalen Ford, over 200 tackles in 2 years. 218, I want to say something like that. 208, over 200 tackles in 2 years for Texas. So he's a guy that the Saints like. They can bring him in there. And we got some other linebackers there, and we got a lot of linebackers, but we don't know who we really have behind Demario Davis and Pete Werner, do we? We know we got Willie Gay, but Willie Gay from Kansas City's on a 1-year deal. So we know what we got in Willie. We know about Pete. We know about Demario, but what do we have behind those guys? When things start moving into the future, we don't know what DeMarco Jackson is. The best of the backup linebackers that really impressed me was Sewell. So, I mean, he was the only one that was really stepping up, and then he got hurt for the year. But outside of that, he was the only linebacker behind the other guys that really kind of showed me that he knew how to play. So we'll see what Jalen could do. We'll see what the DeMarco Jackson could do. And there's a couple other guys that need to step up, and they'll have opportunities in the future, but it's a solid depth piece. And, of course, 2 more picks. The 6th-round pick was Christian Boyd. A lot of people felt like Christian Boyd should have went a little earlier, but he's perfect for the Saints. The Saints was talking to this kid. They interviewed this kid. They mocked him, and something told me they was going to draft him. And something told me they was going to go after and get him. You talk about Christian Boyd, a lot of times all they can really say about him is that he got short arms. But he's super strong. He got a degree of speed to him. He's a physical player, so he ain't just a plotting run stuffer. He gonna give you a push in the middle as well. So we add another interior defensive tackle because we've got to stop teams from running. Last year I didn't like the fact that we would give up these runs on these plays up the middle. That was a bad look. So we need to kind of get back to our roots defensively and clog the run, stop the run, and put pressure on these people. And Christian Boyd will help to do that. And then, of course, finally, the 7th-round pick. A lot of people like this kid, Josiah Israim. I want to say that's his name. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly, out of Eastern Kentucky. He was a guy that a lot of people thought should have went a little earlier, and they were really impressed with this guy. And they like him. And someone was saying, one of the scouts was saying that they were considering him, kicking him inside to guard or whatever. But the Saints definitely need some talent on the offensive line. Whether the guy playing tackle or guard, we can use some more talent there. And he's a big fella right there, right? About 6'7" or so, 330 plus pounds, big guy, big physical offensive lineman. And he's raw as hell. But at the end of the day, we need to get these guys in here and help out, because the Saints ain't going to go the expensive route. They've already warned you about that. They're going to have to do their very best to take some of these players and see if they can give us something going into the season. So that's the draft there. And also kind of go over here, the Saints wire shout out to Sigler. They invite a couple of undrafted locals to try out for the mini camp, so more players due to come in, that he's saying. And of course, he's make mention of the fact that this was reported by Nick Underhill, that Tulane offensive lineman Cameron Wire, who, he was LSU at first. He transferred to Tulane, and Mississippi State safety Sean Preston have been invited to come to the rookie mini camp, which is scheduled for May the 10th to the 12th. So there you go. So Wire's Tulane teammate Sincere Hainsworth was signed. He's one of the 15 undrafted guys we covered before we talked about our draft picks. Green Wave's longtime starting sitter will be in the mix after signing an undrafted free agent contract with the Saints on Saturday. Preston is taking the same path to the NFL that Saints All-Pro special teams ace JT Gray did coming out of Mississippi State. Wire mostly played left tackle in college with 1,537 snaps, having spent the first 4 years of his career at LSU before transferring to Tulane in 23. He's taken all his snaps at right tackle 139, snaps at right guard 133, and left guard at 11. So there you go. And Preston says that he's his regular face in Bulldogs defense over the last 6 years, lining up mostly often at free safety or in the box with occasional looks in the slot. He's from Vacherie, so he also played special teams at Mississippi State and had a strong performance in kicking drills and could do a long way to help the case. So there you go. While the mini camp is mostly aimed at first-year players, NFL teams often invite veteran free agents to try out as well. After the weekend, they'll typically sign some players who caught their eye. So we might see as we get closer to May, we'll see some veteran guys. We'll see who they can sign and bring in here and who can help out and add depth to the team. Because we could still, in my mindset, we could still use some offensive linemen. Interiorly speaking, we could use some a veteran offensive line there, lineman there, and I'm pretty sure if we think hard enough, we could find some other spaces as well. So anyway, the Saints have the invitees going on, and that's what's popping right there. All right, and also this one right here to talk about Saints invite Furman star running back Dominic Roberto to the rookie mini camp as well. And we're going to hear some more of this as it keeps going on. But you're going to bring him in. Saints invited Furman running back Domenico Roberto to their upcoming rookie mini camp. And this was announced through Twitter. And it says he'll have a great opportunity to compete with free agents and make his case for a spot on the 90-man roster ahead of training camp. Roberto was productive in his 5-year career at Furman, recording 466 carries for 2,514 yards with 21 touchdowns and just 1 fumble. He also blocked often. He had a 5-year career at Furman. Recorded 466 carries for over 2,500 yards, 28 touchdowns against 1 fumble. He also blocked often in pass protection, but wasn't asked to catch many passes. It's possible the Saints envision Roberto as a fullback. He weighed 5'10" and 235 pounds at Pro Day, but didn't put up very impressive testing numbers. We'll see if he can hang up with other future pros when the Saints bring in a couple dozen players to minicamp. Practices scheduled for, like I said, May 10th to 12th. So a fullback, they're saying 5'10" and a half, 235 pounds. And like I said, man, I just think that if you're a person, like you're the black and gold, right? And I often said we need more versatility at the fullback position. And I would always use Justin Juszczyk as an example of that. We needed to have all this versatility we had in the wide receiver room, the tight end room. We'll take a wide receiver and convert him to a tight end, and we'll do all these fantastic things. But when it came down to the fullback position, we had a old school traditional ass fullback. And I'm like, nah, we can do better than that, because we can bring in a guy that may look like a fullback, but he can be used in short yardage applications. You can slide him out. He can be act as a tight end in certain cases. You see what I'm saying? You can have a guy that can provide dual value for you and not just be some big lumbering blocking fullback. The guy can also catch passes for you. He can slide out of there, make plays for you, like Juszczyk Justin Juszczyk does for the 49ers. So, well, Kubiak coming here, perhaps we can have that versatility at the fullback position. Perhaps we can have that, because that's something maybe we could kind of think about going forward. So let's take a look right here, fam, at this unofficial depth chart provided by our lads. And pretty much puts all of them, everything, the undrafted guys and the draft picks, everything on the same screen here, so we can take a look at what the Saints are dealing with, as you can see. So, in terms of the quarterbacks, Derek Carr, Jake Hayner, Spencer Ratter is there, Nate Peterman, and Kelly Mine. So we're gonna go into camp with 5 quarterbacks and an outright battle for the backup quarterback position. The running backs, Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams, Kendre Miller. They have Jordan Mims and James Robinson, and also we have the undrafted guys that we're going to bring in as well. They kind of ran out of room as far as this chart goes. And then you look at the wide receivers, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, A.T. Perry. Then you have Bub Means, St. Brown, Cedric Wilson, Stanley Morgan, and then, of course, the 2 undrafted fellas that we added too. Then you can see the line look. This unofficial depth chart has Talicio Fuaga playing at left tackle, Ali Udo at the left guard position. That's exactly how I see it. Before they even put that up, I was like, it makes sense because the left side's going to change. And then it goes McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, and Ramczyk. Now, that's based on Ramczyk being healthy. If he's not healthy to go, you're more than likely going to see Penning there, whether it's left or right. You're going to see Penning at the tackle position. You know, Ali Udo wouldn't be a good choice at the tackle. His footwork ain't good enough for that. Plus, there's film seeing him get tore up at the tackle position. Only in an emergency situation, I would imagine, but nothing after that. Then off the back of the backup to those guys, you see Mark Evans II, Nick Seldaveri, Landon Young, Tommy Kramer, Josiah Izarem. So a lot of unproven talent there is what we're saying. So, like I said, if you look to the Saints backup, Landon Young is the veteran of the backups. And Landon Young played well in spots last year, but not well enough for us to say, yeah, he's ready to take a step. Nick Seldaveri was hurt last year, didn't show much of anything. So we don't know what he has. Mark Evans II's the same way. He's a young player. We don't know what he can do. He has some potential. Tommy Kramer's another dude that was on the practice squad there. And, of course, we can use a veteran or two to kind of stabilize the backups there. Because if something goes awry and we have to lose one of these guys, you don't want to, you want somebody that knows a little something, perhaps Trey Turner. And that's the rumor on the street, is the Saints may bring back Trey Turner. Remember, they signed Trey Turner. He got hurt last year. I'm cool with Trey Turner. Just don't bring back Max Garcia, man. Don't bring back Max Garcia, man. The dude, nothing is that. Just don't bring back Max Garcia. He was just not what's up. He was not a good pickup for us. He's slow. It's just not a good look. We need to do better than that. Than a Max Garcia. Please, no Max Garcia. And, of course, let's keep it moving. The tight end room, Juwan Johnson, Foster Monroe, Taysom Hill, Tommy Hudson, and Michael Jacobson. Not too much on either Tommy Hudson or Michael Jacobson. That's why a lot of people are kind of excited about the Saints bringing in the tight end Dalen Holker from Colorado State, because he could, with his potential, he can blow right past these other guys and make his way up that tight end ladder. If he plays well, he might be able to kind of get up there, so to speak. And, of course, you see Taysom Hill is mixed in with the tight ends as well, but really tight. They call him that, but mostly we see Taysom activates as a running back. He's going to continue to be the Swiss Army knife that we love and respect. And then, of course, outside of that, man, the fullbacks with Adam Prentice and Xander Horvath. Xander Horvath was like one of the first out the building free agents the Saints picked up this offseason. And he's a guy that you had to go back and look at some film on him. It's not a lot of film on him, but I had to kind of look at his college film just to get an idea of what he can do potentially. And Xander Horvath is a guy that he's a more athletic style fullback that you can get a ball to in short yardage. He catches the ball well. So he's yet to realize his potential. Could Clint Kubiak be trying to search for his Justin Juszczyk? Perhaps he does. Perhaps he is. Me personally, I think and I could be crazy, that I think Taysom Hill would make a really good Justin Juszczyk. Like I said, they're the exact same size. They're the same size. They're 6'2", 230 something pounds. They're the same size. And Taysom is blocked before he blocked. He'll be better than you. Well, I ain't gonna say all that, man, because Taysom, man, they like to use him in different spots, but just getting value at that fullback position, that is big. And then, of course, we move on to the defensive. We move on to the defensive end situation. Get this damn wire out the way. All right. Then we have up top, we got Carl Granderson. We know Carl Granderson got paid. And he deserved it. He's the guy. The Saints added Chase Young. Now, Chase Young's had neck surgery, so he's supposed to make it back for camp. That's what they're saying. We'll see. Hopefully, that'll be the case. Colin Sanders and Big Nate Shepard filling inside the line. And then coming off the bench there, Cam Jordan is the situational pass rusher now. And then there is Peyton Turner. There is Isaiah Foskey. There is Tanu Passanyo. They got all these guys acting as ends. Now, I'm interested to see if the Saints will still use or start using. I've been asking this for the last couple of years. Will this be the year when they finally kick Passanyo inside? That be a part of the defensive tackle room. He's 6'7", 300 pounds, and he's a force. It's difficult blocking that guy, especially if you can move him inside. So Brian Bressee's on the inside, and then you can see Christian Boyd from Northern Iowa placed right there next to him. That is a nice future combination of defensive tackles for the Saints right there, with Brian Bressee and Christian Boyd there. And then, of course, some of the lesser-known guys, John Penasini and Jack Heflin, who I was impressed with. Jack Heflin, man. Jack Heflin's a baller. I don't know if he'll get the opportunity with these other guys in front of him. And then the defensive end, Nico Lalos, did some positive things in last year's camp situation. So he's still on the roster. All right, so let me go to my boy. We got a super chat there. KT said we picked up your boy. I know I just said that, KT. I asked about Tipton, and I was like, man, listen, this kid could play. I said he can play, man. And this past draft, I was just saying players in the draft, and as soon as we talked about the players were drafted, and that was all throughout the draft. I would say, man, you know what? This guy would be good, such and such. And while I'm talking about him, the damn team picks him. And it don't be a guy sitting right there. It'd be a guy that's 3 or 4 spots down. And that's why it's like you study the tape and you look at players, because that's what it is, figuring out who's who. But like I talked about, Tipton is a solid pickup for the Saints. Y'all gonna like that kid. Thank you, KT. Appreciate you. Or is it Kyle? What I say, Justin, you check? It's Kyle, you check. Yeah, see, we need to get Justin. You see, that's his brother. You see, my bad. Kyle, you check. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. All right. See, it's not my team, man. So yeah, it's not my team, brother. See, I was talking about Justin. You check. That's Kyle's brother. So we got to add him to the team. You see, that's what's going on. Yeah. We're gonna roll with that. Yeah. All right. So anyway, let's keep it going, man. We look at the linebackers: Pete Werner, Demario Davis, Willie Gay. Those are the top linebackers right there for the Saints. And then we talked about the backups. Nephi Sewell, to me, was a guy that I thought was the better of the backup linebackers last year. He actually outplayed Zach Bowen for time at the linebacker position and was doing really well up until the injury where he gets carted off and he's done for the season. So he'll be back. But Nephi Sewell was, to me, the best of the young linebackers, the backups. These other guys are going to show themselves. Jalen Fords was added, like I talked about him, 200 tackles, over 200 tackles in 2 years. They added Kaliki Hudson from Washington. He's a special teams linebacker there. DeMarco Jackson we drafted. We still don't know what DeMarco Jackson is. Anthony Orgy's there, and the veteran Monty Rice, who hadn't gotten much burn there. You know what I'm saying? So it's still a few guys that the Saints had from the linebacker level that they have to figure out what role these teams have here. So we'll see. All right, then we get to the secondary. Marshawn Lattimore, Paulson Adebo, Alante Taylor at the cornerback positions. Kool-Aid McKinstry will be the dime back. He'll be there in case Saints need to go 4 deep in terms of the cornerbacks, or if injuries occur, he'll be able to slide in and play some for you. Ugo Amadi is also a guy they see as a cornerback. Ugo's a really good High energy players, always around the ball, incredibly undersized. But that's what I was saying. The Saints brought him back on a 1-year deal. But like I said, it's still a 1-year deal. You're looking to kind of build forward. And then from the safety position, Tyrann Mathieu and Jordan Howden, they waive hasta la vista to Marcus May because Marcus May was never available. He spent half the game since he been here. It was either he was suspended or he was hurt. It wasn't a good pickup. And when he was out on the field, he didn't have the same impact that you thought he would have. And the Saints seen Jordan Howden play, and then next thing you know, it's like, well, man, listen, this kid done outplayed Marcus May. Let's put Marcus May on the street. We were saying it during the season. This guy, we could see it. That's another one of those bad contracts. But it is what it is. So behind him, we talked about Jordan Howden being the future safety for the Saints. The Saints need another one. So Jonathan Abrams on a 1-year deal. JT Gray is a special teamer, and you got to make sure you find somebody else. So the team did pick up and that's the thing I want to see with Millard Bradford, the guy they picked up from TCU. Millard Bradford's a good college safety that can come in, and perhaps he can kind of step in there and earn that job, and see if he can step into a role. He has a lane, man, depending on what the Saints do. He can probably see if he can make something pop for himself from the safety position. They look at them safeties, man. That safety position, man, is wide open for a young guy to step in there and make some noise. And don't be surprised if Millard Bradford is not a guy that can do that, because he could play. He could play. All right, then the rest of the guys you see from the cornerback, Faion Hicks, Rajon Wright, those other guys, and you got Shamar Jean Charles, who the Saints picked up like a veteran guy right there from they re-signed him from last year. He played a little bit last year. He was okay. So the Saints adding a little veteran depth there. And then, of course, you go to the special team side of thing. You see the place kicker, Blake Grupe. They added Charlie Smith there. It's an international player to try to give Blake some competition. Lou Hedley, the punter that the Saints had that started off well, then he kind of fell apart. I ain't like his kicking. His kicking wasn't all that last year. So the Saints did bring in the punter in the undrafted side of things. They bring in the punter, Matthew Highball from Vanderbilt. I think he's also Australian. I don't know what's up with that, but, with the Saints looking at Australian punters all the time. But at the same time, he could really kick. The dude averages like, 48, over 48 and a half yards per punt. So Lou Hedley might be heading back to the land down under, because they're definitely holding that punting position open, because he's not safe. He's not safe at all. Zach Wood's still here, and the kick return, punt return, they have listed as Rashid Shaheed for both of those. They got Cedric Wilson was listed there, but Stanley Morgan Jr. also has some special team application. So we'll see what's going on there. And I don't know if they'll put him there, but Kool-Aid McKinstry also had a little special teams, returning going on there. So like I said, we'll see who they kind of bring forward there, but I know that Stanley Morgan Jr. was a guy that was kind of looked at as being that perhaps one of these undrafted guys could step in that role and try to see if they can compete as for one of those return positions. All right. So anyway, and let me show this list to you too. This is probably a little bit more. This is from Saints Wire. They did a more, this looks better. It's not a table, but you can see right here, as we go from quarterback down, with Derek Carr throwing the ball, Carr, Hayner, Peterman, Kelly Mine, and the rookie Spencer Rattler there. And it says Carr remains unquestioned starter, but things are interesting behind him. Rattler was a great value pick late in day 3. He has as much arm talent as anyone on the roster, but he'll need to prove he's grown past a habit for risky throws that's gotten him burned in college. Either Peterman or Mond will probably be waived before training camp, since the Saints only have so much practice reps to go around. That'd be a poll for another day, which quarterback won't make it. Running backs situation, AK-41's there, Jamal Williams, Kendre Miller, Jordan Mims, James Robinson, and Jacob Cabody, the undrafted rookie. Saints passed on multiple opportunities to draft the running back, So unless they're about to sign a free agent or make a surprise trade, this is a group they've got. And none of these players had a single run gain more than 20 yards last year. That is absolutely horrible. Hopefully better blocking, more inventive play calling can get more out of them. Caboti feels like a long shot to make the roster after staying in school for 7 years, but the Saints clearly feel he deserves a shot to show what he can do. Yeah, we could practice squad him and hope nobody steals him. Fullback position. All right, Adam Prentice and Xander Horvath. We got a fullback competition brewing for training camp. Horvath followed his position coach Derek Foster over from the Chargers, but the Saints chose to resign Prentice despite the 2023 season filled with too many negative plays. I agree. Clint Kubiak's scheme does lean hard on his fullback, so one of them needs to step up, and I'm probably saying Xander Horvath might be the guy. Got the inside track, right? He's a lot more athletic. I think he's more athletic than Adam Prentice is. Adam is more like a traditional style fullback. This other guy can do different things. And from the tight end position, the man on the top is Juwan Johnson, Foster Monroe, Tommy Hodson. You got Michael Jacobson and Dallin Holker, the rookie undrafted guy who should really climb here in the tight end room. Brock Bowers may have been the pick had he made it to 14, but the Saints ultimately waited until undrafted free agency to add a tight end. It shouldn't shock anyone if Holker climbs the depth chart quickly. He's got real receiving ability and enough athleticism to separate himself from the pack. He just needs to show he can block when asked to. Indeed, you can look at the tape. It proves everything he said is facts. Flex position, Taysom Hill. If he says it isn't honest to list Hill as one of these other position groups. He doesn't wear a red contact jersey to practice like the quarterbacks. He doesn't exclusively work in catching and blocking drills, but the tight ends he's asked to be flexible and handle a variety of different assignments. And we're going to reflect that he gets his own thing, the flex position, Mr. Taysom Hill. Left tackle, Trevor Penning, Ali Udo, and Landon Young. Now things get tricky. We don't know exactly where the Saints plan on playing Udo, Young, and some other offensive linemen, so we'll be redundant and list them as multiple possible positions. What's clear here is that the Saints need some kind of viable veteran competition for Penning, especially if Udo is splitting time at guard. They risk pushing Penning out of the plane without a parachute while being strapped to his chest. Now, left guard position is Nick Saldiveri, Ali Udo again, Mark Evans II, and Noredian Nueli, which is the rookie. Does the new offensive coaching staff still view Saldiveri as a guard like their predecessors, or will they move him back to tackle? That's a question which has not been answered. Udo is an option here too. So is Evans, a second-year backup. Nauli, a undrafted rookie from Nebraska, played both guard spots in college but spent more time on the left side. The center position is McCoy. And back up behind this is Sincere Haynesworth, a rookie. McCoy returns as the Saints' best offensive lineman. Haynesworth is an interesting rookie free agent signing. He isn't super athletic, but he has a ton of college experience at Tulane with few mistakes and penalties on his ledger. The right guard position is Cesar Ruiz, Tommy Kramer, and Kyle Hergel. He says hoping the new coaching staff can help Ruiz find consistency after he regressed in some bad habits last year. Kramer played right tackle for the Saints on a handful of snaps, but has mainly been a guard in the NFL. And Hergel spent time at left guard for Boston College, but played more than twice as many reps on the other side. Right tackle position, Ramczyk is injured. Talisi Fuaga, the rookie, Landon Young, and Josiah Israem, the rookie. Ramczyk would be starting if he were healthy, but there's a very real chance he won't be playing this year or even the next year or even ever again after off-season surgery didn't improve his degenerate knee condition. Saints family members should be get used to the idea that Fuaga could be taking Ramczyk's place permanently. Young has Chris trained at both tackle spots, could also be in the mix to line up at guard. Israem also has physical gifts in the world, but needs more time to develop before he's ready to dress on game days. On to the wide receiver position. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, A.T. Perry, Cedric Wilson, Stanley Morgan, E. St. Brown, Bubs Mean, Jermaine Jackson, Kyle Sheets, Mason Tipton. We could get really deep in the weeds about the different roles that a split end, flanker, and slot guy play, But how these positions are determined by body type and skill set, but the Saints rotate them around so often it's unclear how the approach will change with Clint Kubiak running offense. So, that is what it is. But this is our wide receiver room going in. Very inexperienced wide receiver when it gets beyond Cedric Wilson. So some of these guys will have the opportunity to step up. The punter is Lou Headley, followed by Matt Highball, the undrafted rookie. The Saints found one of few punters who averaged less hang time per punt in Headley last year. Highball clocked just 3.88 seconds per punt at Vanderbilt. He gets great net yardage, but the Australian style of punting makes for a razor-thin margin for error for coverage teams. That's where they want to keep going. I don't understand why they keep going that route, but it is what it is. Kicker position, Blake Grupe, Charlie Smith is there. Smith has been a roster exemption as part of the NFL International Pathway Program, so he doesn't count against the 90-man roster. We've seen him show some greater range, Grupe, and workout videos, but he needs to do it in the NFL environment. So Grupe was the only kicker in the NFL last season to miss multiple field goals from 30 or fewer yards, shanking 2 of them with 29 yards both times. He's a rookie. Last year, he's in his second year this year, so we'll see what he can do. The long snapper position goes to Mr. Zach Wood as we cross over to the defensive side of the football. Cam Jordan and Chase Young, who's injured, passing yo's there. Young is going to be on the mend for a while. He isn't expected to be ready for the start of training camp after undergoing neck surgery, but the Saints fully plan on him being active and productive for 17 games this season. Passing yo remains a steady player in the rotation. Can someone please step up so Jordan doesn't have to play so many reps at his age? The tackle position, Nate Shepard, Brian Bresee, Jack Heflin, Kyle Abba. Bresee was impressive on passing downs as a rookie. Now he needs to show he's developed into a better run stuffer so he can take Shepard's spot in the starting lineup and stay on the field more often. Bob made some plays for Minnesota last year and has enough athleticism to suggest that he's more than just that on the field. The nose tackle position, Big Kalen Saunders, John Penasini, and Christian Boyd. There are 20 reps per game freed up by Malcolm Roach leaving in free agency. Boyd has a clear path to claiming him. He just needs to stop the run as well as he did at Northern Iowa. He also pushes the pocket. I agree. And he mentioned the Brian Bresee, and I often say, yeah, Brian Bresee should step up and become a starter here, man. And because I really don't see Nate Shepard as a starter. I thought he was more a guy that's a good as a rotational end. So hopefully Brian Bresee does improve so he can get in that lineup, because I really like his energy and what he does. Very disruptive, very violent person, and a force in there. And both him and Big Boy in the middle, the bowling ball, Kalen Saunders, them dudes together, man, are 2 violent cats, man. So we got to make sure we keep that going. And I think we're going to be much improved in stopping the run. Defensive end position on the other side with Carl Granderson, Peyton Turner, Isaiah Foskey, Nico Lalos, and Nathan Latu. Granderson was easily the most impactful defensive end for the Saints, but this whole group needs to step up. It's sink or swim time for Turner. Foskey made some plays and just to justify his draft investment. What's interesting is Latu is a unique body type within the position group. Just 250, maybe he can bring some of that versatility that Zach Bourne introduced last year. The linebackers, Demario Davis, Nephi Sewell, DeMarco Jackson, Kaliki Hudson, and Jalen Ford. Yeah, we talked about Sewell suffering a knee injury last season. He was beginning to get reps with the defense in passing situations. He was a solid linebacker for us, to be honest with you. Hopefully he can bounce back. The competition between Jackson, Hudson, and Ford for the second spot behind Demario Davis is going to be fierce. The Saints may end up losing a good player after roster cuts. Well, to practice squad if they can clear. Weak side linebacker Pete Werner, Willie Gay, Monty Rice, Anthony Orji, and Isaiah Stallbird. A lot of linebackers. Gay is in high pursuit of Werner's starting job, and he just might snatch it away. There's room for both of them when the Saints run a base defense, but that happens. So I'm about to say that don't happen too much at all. A lot of 100% of plays that they run, you might see that base defense like 2% of the time. They don't use it often. But maybe with Willie Gay, maybe they can use the base defense. Maybe that was the idea of it. We'll see. But with this being a contract, this year, with either Gay won't be, either Warner or Gay won't be in New Orleans this time next year. Rice shouldn't be overlooked after the Saints claimed off the waivers from Tennessee Titans. He's a solid veteran, by the way. Safety position. Tyrann Mathieu, Jonathan Abram, Jordan Howden, Hugo Amadi, JT Gray, Millard Bradford, and Lawrence Johnson. The Saints run so many coverages with two safeties over the top that it's tough to distinguish them between strong and free. So we just aren't going to do that. What's important to acknowledge that Abram finished the 2023 season ahead of Howden on the depth chart, so the Saints could use another safety in case Howden's development stalls out and the veteran free agent options are abundant. They are, but the money isn't. The nickel position, Alante, Hugo Amadi, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Millard Bradford, and Isaiah Stallberg. Said this is where we don't know the full plan for these players yet, so we'll just toss them all in. Taylor was a major liability in the slot last season and immediately improved once he started playing outside again. McKinstry looks like looks a more of a smoother fit in the role, given loose hips and the quick change of direction, but he's never played it before, though he'll say it he had. So he said, so it opened so that is Dennis Allen. But Bradford was primarily a slot guy at TCU last year. Stallberg's listed at linebacker, but played at 220 pounds, but he ran a full 4. That's pretty interesting for a guy like that. Spent more time in the slot than the box at South Dakota. Hopefully rookie mini camp clears up the picture. Then the left cornerback position with Adebo, Taylor, Wright, John Charles, and Rico Payton, the rookie. Adebo won this starting job from Taylor last summer, but that could change if the Saints reverse course and take Taylor out of the slot. It fails. He said it falls off pretty severely after the 2 years, right? And John Charles are special teamers, and Peyton is undersized prospect from a small school. So there you go. Marshawn and Kool-Aid McKinstry on the right side with Feion Hicks. Lattimore's job, no questions asked, unless he gets traded, which he probably won't. That speculation isn't going away if the Saints have gotten a worthwhile trade for him. I don't think they trade him. McKinstry was drafted for good reason, and blah, 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 blah. So that's some of everything. And shout out to John Sigler, man. Well done putting this article together. Probably took him a little while to do it. Shout out to him, man, putting all these guys. So this is everybody currently on the team, man, that we are looking at and for the Saints. So, man, going to be an interesting time. We'll see what other veterans they add before May the 10th. As well. So I expect them to put a couple of veterans in the mix too, getting ready for camp. And then finally, let's take a look at the NFC South draft grades by the score. And this is what they gave all the guys. They basically gave Atlanta a D. They gave Atlanta a D grade. What in the world are the Falcons doing? Not only was Penix a major reach, but using the number 8 on a quarterback after signing Kirk Cousins feel wildly irresponsible. A top 10 pick and a loaded draft offered them a unique opportunity to add a premium talent and upgrade the roster around $180 million man. And for anyone pointing to the Packers model, drafting quarterbacks of the future years in advance, consider Penix is already 24 years old. There's justifying the bizarre situation. Unfortunately for the Falcons fans, day 2 also got off to a rough start, trading away a 3rd round pick to move up. 8 spot to draft Horror. I hope that's these names, man. Our 7th ranked interior defensive lineman was another strange decision. Continue to bolster the pass rush with mid-round value picks, and Trice and Doralis. I like Doralis. Does salvage this draft, but it's tough to look at Atlanta's initial choices. This was a massive misstep for the Falcons. Now, we know that Michael Penix is 24 years of age. But Kirk Cousins is not a guarantee that Kirk Cousins won't get hurt again. I mean, if they, what looks worse, and this is the thing I'm saying about some of these people, you got to use your damn imagination. Them picking up Penix was a futuristic move. And we know he's 24 years of age. But if Kirk Cousins, who they spent, like this guy said, $180 million on, gets hurt, what looks worse? A quarterback that you spent $180 million on that gets hurt in his first year and can't help you, or you getting a young quarterback, a experienced quarterback that can step in and play. He might be 24 years of age, but this guy could play in the NFL. He could play. He's accurate. He's smart. He's tough as hell, and he would drive your offense. So, I mean, they mention his age, but he's incredibly mature in terms of his football mentality, his football IQ. He played at a high level for a while for Washington, But like I said, I see a lot of people say, man, we needed a defensive end. I heard what the Atlanta guys were saying. I'm telling you, if Kirk Cousins got $180 million, but Kirk Cousins is an older quarterback. If somebody knocked Kirk Cousins' ass out next year and he needs to experience spend at least several weeks on the side, what are you going to do then? What if he gets hurt again, man? What looks worse? I'm just saying, what looks worse? You drafting Penix for the future and he's 24 years of age, or Kirk Cousins getting hurt? There's no guarantee Kirk Cousins is gonna make it through a full year. He's coming off a major injury. They're thinking like, oh, he's gonna be fine. Man, you don't know what's gonna happen. That's what these people are in. They're in the insurance game. And I tell you one goddamn thing, I think they might be a little bit better off than us in terms of the quarterback situation. Because if something happened to Carr, do we have somebody that can carry the day? If Carr gets hurt, seriously, if we have on our QB behind Derek Carr, if he gets hurt, can they carry the day for an extended period of time? Just asking, man. So he gave him a D on that based on the Penix move, but there's no guarantee that Kirk Cousins is going to remain healthy for a full season. I mean, come on. You gotta play the insurance game, right? And then for Carolina, he got him as a B+. All right, he says Carolina was far more measured in his first draft under a new regime. The best example being the move to pick up from the 2025 second round pick from the Rams to drop back 13 spots in this year's second round. It's hard not to love the team selections. I like Xavier Legette too, a physical, athletic receiver who could become Bryce Young's number one target. Brooks, the running back, a top-ranked running back who's a do-it-all weapon, major upgrade over Miles Sanders and Chupa Hubbard. Wallace is one of the most exciting linebackers in his class, and Sanders rounds out the impressive trio of receivers added to the offense. The Panthers could be on the rise if this class is an indication how new leadership will do business. So Xavier Legette will help. He will help, no doubt about it. Jonathan Brooks will do it. Brooks is a solid runner, a power back and catch the ball out the backfield. So they basically gave him another wide receiver in the run and started. I wouldn't be surprised if Jonathan Brooks start. He should start if he's healthy. Linebacker's good. They got he didn't even mention Jatavion Sanders from Texas. That guy could play. So like I said, and Jaden Crumedy is not a bad interior defensive tackle in his own right. So Carolina, yeah, they did a pretty decent thing. But see, it's all about Bryce Young, right? It's all about getting Bryce Young weapons so he can do his thing. And they really didn't have to spend too much on the offensive line in terms of the draft because they spent a lot of money in free agency getting guys on the inside there to help out. So it's all about Bryce Young. They did all they could do to improve the offense. The defense got some help in the draft and in free agency, but really the offense is about driving the offense forward with Bryce Young there. And, they got a new coach there that is going to make sure that that guy, he did a good job with Baker Mayfield, and others. If you can take Baker Mayfield and turn him into what he did for Tampa Bay last year, he can do that for Bryce Young. Let me tell you. All right. Then of course we go to the Saints draft. Grade B they give us. It felt like a guarantee that the Saints would take an offensive lineman in the first round, and they got themselves a good one. Fuaga's an imposing presence who should immediately step in as a starter at either tackle spot. Given the possibility of Marshawn Lattimore's trade, the Saints needed a cornerback, and McKinstry was a steal with the 9th pick of the second round. Trades left the Saints short on mid-round selections, so the talent in this group lacks some depth there, but taking Rattler in the 5th round is one of the most interesting picks of the entire draft. The South Carolina product, who ranked as a number 7 quarterback, has all the skills to become a starting signal caller at the next level. And that's what I constantly get when people talk about Spencer Rattler. They either go all the way to one side or all the way to the other side. Now, like I said, I'm not incredible. I'm not all the way to one side or other, but I'm not really particularly were impressed with Spencer Rattler in college. I watched him play. I watched several games of him play, and I seen him make plays, but I wasn't particularly impressed with his style of play and impressed with him as a quarterback. But, I know he has potential. I know he could throw the ball. I know he has a degree of accuracy, and I don't question his IQ. I mean, he's one of these guys that can process it fast. But, like I said, I'm going to be patient with the pick because I want to see what Clint Kubiak see, because that was Kubiak pick, obviously. Clint Kubiak picked that kid, so that's his quarterback. So it's something about him that he likes, and perhaps he could turn him into something. Maybe he might see a little Patrick Mahomes in him, like somebody made mention of. Perhaps he can. So we'll see what he got going on there. That was very interesting, because I didn't think the Saints would take a quarterback at all in this draft. I really didn't. All right, so let's keep it up. They gave us a B. And then, of course, the final, for people who might not know about what our other adversaries did, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did some stuff there. They replaced the human trash can. I think that's what Cam called him, who played center. I won't even mention his name. They replaced him with Graham Barton from Duke. They think he'll kick inside. Chris Braswell, the defensive end from Alabama, which was a very solid pickup by them, by the way. Tyke Smith, one of my favorite safeties of the draft. They got him. Jalen McMillan from Washington, a very solid wide receiver. And Delvin Cope at the back of the draft with 246, a very interesting project as a tight end, has all kind of potential. And even Bucky Irvin from Oregon, this is a lot of Oregon people went in that round. He's undersized, but he has he can catch the ball. He got a lot of speed. He's very twitchy, and they obviously got an idea for him. And then Elijah Klein from UTEP, he's okay, just to add depth there. So very solid draft by Tampa Bay, man, to go along with what they already have. Now, I'm not very sure what they did in free agency, but this is a very solid draft, man. The Bucs quietly had a strong weekend. Barton is an impressive offensive line prospect who, after finishing his career at Duke at left tackle, figures to play at center. It's a unique transition, to be sure, but his combination of athleticism, processing skills, and physicality gives him a Pro Bowl potential on the inside. Braswell, our 6th-ranked edge rusher, is a nice addition to Tampa Bay's pass rush group. McMillan could be a productive slot receiver alongside Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and Irvin's pass-catching skill set could make him a great complement for Rachaad White. This group could help the Bucs take another step forward. So the Buccaneers, we got to watch the Buccaneers, right? And I'm going to just be honest with you. I think that's probably what we need to do. We're going to have to keep our eyes on the Buccaneers. We got to keep our eyes on the Buccaneers, to be honest with you. And like I said, we weren't watching them last year, and the Buccaneers turned around and stole the NFC South. We were paying attention to Atlanta. We were looking, elsewhere. But we kind of wrote the Buccaneers off because Tom Brady leaves. You got a couple other losses, and there's no way you're going to do anything. You got Baker Mayfield as your quarterback. Ha, 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 ha. Right? Baker signs a 1-year deal for $4 million, goes there and outperforms our quarterback for half the cost. Now, he got his contract, his money now, and he leads the team going forward. But the reality is the Buccaneers, man, they're not, they play for their coach. They did lose the offensive coordinator. I want to see how that affects them. But if all things kind of stay similar, in terms of the draft and what they did, they still are a solid threat in the NFC South. You can't look away from them because they're sitting with the crown in the NFC South, right? They're sitting with the crown. But anyway, they get a B. So everybody in the NFC South in terms of the grade gets a B, except for the Falcons. The Falcons get a D from this guy. They get a D. They get a D because of Penix. They said Penix wasn't a good move. He's too old, 24. He acts like the damn man Chris Twinkie or somebody. Y'all remember Chris Twinkie? When Twinkie came into the league, man, Twinkie was old, man. All right, Joe Dog, thank you for that, man. He says Rattler got that mixed race like Mahomes. I see. But yet, bro, people keep saying that to me. You're the third person or fourth person to tell me that. Like, man, I see some Patrick Mahomes in Rattler. And I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. See, I try not to, because see, Pat Mahomes, you seen he was gonna be a good one, right? When you watch Pat Mahomes, you seen it in Lamar Jackson. You can see it in the quarterbacks. Like a lot of these quarterbacks, you can see it, not in all of them, but they're gonna be good. You've seen it in Lamar Jackson. You've seen it in and I seen it in Justin Herbert. You see it in Josh Allen when he came out from he was out of what, small school, I want to say he came out of. But you could see he had potential. He's a big quarterback that had athleticism. He could throw the ball. They were concerned about his accuracy, boy. And he got some stuff to work on. But some guys you can look at it and you can see it. You can see it. Pat Mahomes, when he was playing, you could see it in Pat Mahomes that he was about serious business. Yeah, he was somebody that can be special. Then it takes the right situation for him to be in. But yeah, Joe, appreciate the super chat, man. But it's like, bro, you're like the third or fourth person that told me I see Pat Mahomes and Spencer Rattler. And I'm like, I don't know. But man, listen, that would be wonderful. But Clint Kubiak, maybe he sees Mahomes and Rattler. I don't know. Only thing I know is when I watched Spencer Rattler play, I wasn't impressed with his style of play. I wasn't impressed with it. He looked like an average quarterback to me. That's what he looked like. He didn't look like somebody like, even if I talk about Pratt from Tulane, who went later on to Green Bay, right? Even if I would talk about Pratt had 4 years of college experience, right? He was 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", 6'3". I think he's about 6'3" or so. He got some weight on him, and he stood in the pocket, would deliver the ball. He was accurate. And then he played for Tulane, and he beat up on a lot of teams, especially 2 years ago. This year he was banged up. Maybe he'd have went a little higher, but he was banged up during this season. But the year before, when he took on Caleb Williams in the bowl game, he beat Caleb Williams head to head. He was making the throws. He was throwing the touchdowns. He was cutting their defense up. If it wasn't for him, it wasn't like he just turned around. He handed the ball up because he had fantastic running backs. We had really good wide receivers. But Tulane really put itself on the map with Pratt when he beat Caleb Williams head to head. That was a phenomenal game. I was watching LSU's bowl game. I turned that shit off and turned on Tulane. That was Tulane was kicking tail in that game, and they beat him head to head right there. So I thought that Pratt should have went a lot higher than where he went to Green Bay in the 7th round. I thought the Saints, if they wanted a quarterback, Pratt would probably be a guy. I wanted Travis, the Florida State guy, to be maybe the guy that they look at. But Pratt was a guy that's in their own backyard. If you need a quarterback, this guy from Tulane, why not? The Saints don't see it like that. They don't see it like that. Maybe the next coach that comes in, maybe he will build more of a camaraderie and community with the local teams around here, like other teams do. I know Carolina does that. Carolina drafted Xavier Legette, and he's from South Carolina. I mean, he's played for South Carolina. They were keeping an eye out on that guy, and they made him their 1st round pick. I don't remember the last time the Saints did that. Well, they'll take take a guy. What was it going all the way back to? Y'all can throw it in the chat. The last time they did a local town, was it Archie? Am I going that far back? It's been a while, man. But outside of that, yeah, we'll see, bro. We'll see. When I watch him, and I ain't just watch him 2 or 3 games, I watch him more than that. I want to say at least 7 or 8 times I watched Spencer Rattler play. And when I watched him play, I seen him make plays. But in my mind, when I go back and think about Spencer Rattler, when I watch, he was just a normal quarterback to me. He wasn't a bad quarterback, but it was nothing. It was nothing that stood out like, man, this guy is going to be such and such. I just didn't see it. Now, we'll see. Hopefully he proves me wrong. All right. So big ups to the fam, man. Y'all do me a service, man. Feel free to hit the like button, man. And I got a poll up in the draft. Shout out to my Instagram family. Big ups to you guys out there. All right. I think I got a poll in the chat, man. Got over 170 plus people that voted on the poll. And the poll says, what grade would you give the Saints for the draft? And we got 48% of the family members, the Great Saint Think Tank, gave the Saints an A grade. 42% gave them a B, 10% C, and only 1% gave them a D. So that is actually pretty damn good. 48%, now it's 47. 47% of the people did that. All right, thank you. KT, shout out to you, brother. Says Q, Rattler has a stronger arm than Pratt. I hear you. I'll get you on that, bro. But what else does he have better than? You see what I'm saying? Is he more accurate than Pratt? Is he, see, some of these things is to be debated because That's really Clint Kubiak's choice. That's his quarterback. Kubiak's pick for a quarterback was Spencer Rattler. And perhaps he sees not Mahomes, but maybe Brock Purdy. I can settle for Brock Purdy. If he can do Brock Purdy, if he finds I see Brock Purdy, a more athletic version of Brock Purdy with this guy, because he's accurate, man. He's tough as nails. He's standing there and get it. And I do give him credit for being a tough ass quarterback, because I've seen Spencer Rattler get blown up on plays and pop right back up, dust himself off, and go to the huddle and throw another pass. I've seen that happen. He's tough as nails. I give you that. So, we'll see, man, because a lot of people pinpointing the quarterback position. That's Kubiak's choice. He picked that guy. That's his quarterback. So I'm going to hope that we can get, at the very least, hopefully we can get to the ceiling, which would be Patrick Mahomes. But at the floor, perhaps, we can get him as good as a Brock Purdy. We can do that, because we're going to need something, fam. If Derek Carr's coming off an injury, we're going to have rookies and inexperienced tackles there, so, Derek Carr might take some hits. You get what I'm saying? So you might need to have somebody that can step in and play. Now, Jake Hayner's been training with, Chucky. I've seen the reports with Jake Hayner training with John Gruden to try to get his game right, because he's looking to try to take that next step. But, speaking to that, that's something that we need to kind of look at. And maybe that'll be the subject of Monday's show, is which players on the Saints roster who were here last year need to step up and make and take their games to the next level so the team can have success. That's really the thing that we be looking at. And I guess I'm going to cover it more in that show. But Landon Young is a guy that needs to step up. He played okay last year. Landon Young played a little okay for us last year, but Landon Young been here for a while. And it's time for Landon Young. He can play guard and tackle. It's time for Landon Young to step up. He has an opportunity. If he plays well, he might be able to jump in the job, might be able to take a guard position. You know what I'm saying? Because Landon Young, he got some athleticism to him too. But at the end of the day, like I said, it depends on who picks the system up faster. That's what it's all about. Who picks this system up fast? Because everybody on the offense has to learn an entire new system. So, it'll be everybody got to learn it. So they got to unlearn what they learned last year to learn what they learned this year. So we'll see how it all works. But every last one of them got to step up. And that's the thing I was saying about Penning too. It's like, maybe that style, that coach, that offensive line coach, Marone, wasn't speaking his language. Maybe Benton, the new offensive line coach, does. So these guys are going to be patient with all these guys to figure out who's supposed to be where and how. Because, like I said, Kubiak says this is going to be a heavy run-based system. We're going to be running the ball here and there, running against 8-man fronts. He wants to establish the Saints offense as a running attack and then play action off the back of the run. That's what I've been saying for years. We need to get that going. We need to commit to running the ball effectively. If the Saints are a top 10, I was about to say 5, but if the Saints are a top 10 running unit offensively, the Saints are going to win some games next year, because that is the model that you need to take to win for the Saints this upcoming year. You got to put your trust in the running room. Put your trust in Elvin. Put your trust in Jamal Williams and Kendre Miller and Taysom Hill. It's the strongest unit you have. And then let Carr operate off the back of that, because he has to learn the system too. So I'm not asking Derek Carr to win us no games, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking the running attack with an assist from the defense to help us win and sustain games. That's what if Clint Kubiak could get the running attack going to the point where we're a top 10 running unit, we should win some games, man. We should win some games. All right. Thank you, KT, for that, man. All right. And of course, fam, let me ask you guys, if you still here, feel free to hit the like button if you haven't done so, and the notification bell to future shows And please feel free to subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Also, fam, listen, if you have any questions, please throw them in the chat, and I'm going to try to do my best to answer them for you. I'll spend another 15, 20 minutes here. Then, I got to kind of get in the win. All right. KT says, Rattler has a terrible line at Carolina. Yeah, I know that, KT. I know that. That's why I was telling you that I've seen him get knocked down. Like he got tore up. I've seen him a bunch of times get blew up, and he popped right back up. He didn't fuss at nobody. He went back up there, wiped the shit off of him, and then got back in there and kept throwing passes. I made a point to mention that because that's what I did see, because he was being chased. He got knocked down. He stood in there and make passes. That's why I give him credit for being a tough ass quarterback. So yeah, I did. Red Swamp says, Q, I want you to know that as a Falcons fan, I admire your respect and professionalism and smoothness with which you host your show. I'm a Kappa man, and smoothness is essential to me. Thank you, Red Swan. Appreciate you, fam, for being here. Much love. And yeah, we got quite a few of the Falcon fans, man. Thank you for the compliment. I just talked about Atlanta, man, about the Michael Penix thing and the Kirk Cousins thing, fam. We know what time this Kirk Cousins thing is. Y'all spent 180. Y'all spent $180. We spent $150. And the situations are similar so far as both teams are littered and loaded with talent. And the problem with Atlanta for a long time was the rocky quarterback play. Like they thought the Riddler would be the guy. They had Tyler Heineke coming in there hoping he could do some stuff. And it just never materialized. But Kirk Cousins, the one thing I know about Kirk Cousins, that he's a cerebral quarterback. He's a guy that if he's healthy, he's a problem. And I know that because when Kirk Cousins played for the Minnesota Vikings gave the Saints problems. We could not, in the playoffs, they gave us problems. And then with Kirk Cousins at the quarterback, he had a lot of success against the Saints with the Vikings. So it was we are very familiar with Kirk Cousins. But coming off a major injury, that's why I said I'm not that upset with them for taking Michael Penix there, because I watched a lot of Michael Penix games, and Michael Penix could play the curb. And I'm saying, like, when they took some of these other quarterbacks when we was doing the live streams, and it's like you like who you have your picks and chooses, but some of these guys are not ready to play. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Michael Penix is a guy that played a lot of football. He the knock on him, a lot of people were saying, is the injury histories, because he had a bunch of injuries that he had to shake back from to going, to play football. But he was able to do that. He's accurate. He moves around a lot. He processes the game fast. And he's ahead of some of these other guys that they drafted in the first round. He is. And listen, a guy like Bo Nix and guys like that are rare, because Bo Nix played a ton of games in college. If you're a head coach coming out and you drafting a guy like Sean Payton, that was the perfect pick for Sean Payton to get Bo Nix. The perfect pick, because Nix has a ton of college games that he's played in. He's smart, he's accurate, and he don't have a big arm, but he knows football. He processes things well. And if there was a rookie quarterback that Sean Payton would need to get, it would be a guy that have that much college experience. He played a ton of college games. So, that's what I'm saying. That helps out in the maturation process. Like some of these other guys, they're not as ready as a Michael Penix in my book. They're looking at ceilings. When they talk about all these quarterbacks, they can't necessarily go stat for stat with a guy like Penix, you know what I'm saying? They would then start talking about ceilings and potential. He potentially could be this, that, and the third. He's 6'3", 230 pounds. He could throw the ball 40 yards down the field. But, all that kind of stuff, but he only got 20-something touchdowns, against this amount of interceptions. He played this couple of years, and this is what and then you look at the game, this kid ain't ready to play. You might have to sit him down and play another guy for half a year or whatever, and then kind of work him in to get him going on. Penix is a guy that played a lot of games. He processed the game different. He was a lot readier than some of these other guys, in my opinion. I was saying it through the show. They were talking about Michael Penix going all the way down to the second round and all. I was like, man, he bet not drop that far. It's because all quarterbacks are different. Most quarterbacks and people, let's just talk not just quarterbacks, but players differently process the game faster. You got people out there that's just naturals, and some of them that got to work at it. Some people got to work at it. Some people are just naturals. That's just how it is. I didn't create the factory. Nature did. Some people as children, some people are walking faster than other people. You see what I'm saying? The babies come out. Some babies start crawling fast. The next thing you know, they walking faster. Some of them, it's just different. Everybody's processes are different. People's concepts and being able to pick up things are faster than other people's. It's just what it is. So that applies in football too. And when you see a Penix play, you see a Bo Nix play, you see a Jaden Daniels play, you see a Kyler Williams play, you can look at these guys and say, yeah, these guys, they could play it. They can win. They'll be able to wing it at the next level because they have the attributes needed to be successful. You just have to put the right scheme with them and protect them and put the weapons around them so they can be successful. So, that's how I look at it anyway. But anyway, all right. But thank you. Appreciate you, bro. All right. Big ups. What's up, GM Kev in the building as well. All right. Saints for Life says, according to Spencer, Sean Payton made him study his playbook before he had to visit with Denver and tested him. He was able to nail the test. Well, I know about I speak about Spencer's. He does have a good IQ there. Swarm says, Q, I was thinking the same thing. Bo Nix is perfect for Payton and what he wants to do. Yeah, it's Sean Payton, bro. We know Sean Payton for years. Sean Payton never took a quarterback and turned him into anything. And now his job is dependent on him taking Nix and turning them into something. He just has to make sure he has the line and the running attack, which Sean Payton could do. Sean Payton will make sure you have a strong offensive line and a good running attack. He will give you that, and making sure you put weapons. So like last year, building up the team, getting rid of people that don't fit his style and system, but he's going to build that line. He's going to build that offensive line up so he can run the ball. And if you have a quarterback that's accurate enough to do it, that's a perfect pick. Bo Nix was a perfect pick for Coach Payton. I got to give him a shout out on that, man. All right, Saints for Life says Penix has big arm and Smart has all the tools to be successful. I was saying that, bro. And I know people are tearing him down because a lot of people didn't see Spencer at number. They didn't see not Spencer. They didn't see Penix at number 8. But don't say shit about Drake May at 3 or whatever it was. Like, this guy is not or JJ McCarthy, at where he went. I'm like, these guys are good young quarterbacks, but they're not ready to play. They say, those guys are 2 years or something younger than him. What does it matter if he could play? What does it matter? And like I said, if you got an older guy like that and he's coming off a major injury, man, I would rather if a situation occur, I would rather have a quarterback that I drafted, I believe in, behind an older quarterback in case that guy gets hurt, than you sitting there, you spend all this money, the guy gets hurt, and you standing up there like, what the hell? You looking like the Jets did last year. The Jets had no backup plan. So the guy mentions, if you're thinking about the Packers plan, he's 24 years of age. No, I'm thinking about the goddamn Jets plan. What's the Jets plan? The Jets plan, they picked up Aaron Rodgers, and then when Aaron got hurt the first game, they had to go to Zach Wilson. That's the year before the year plan. That's the plan I don't want to follow. All right, anyway, man, you know how it go. All right, any questions, throw them in the chat, fam. Jay Safar, what's up, bro? Said we should try to get something for Haener. You thinking about trading Jay Haener? I don't think we should trade Jay Haener. Let's let them fight it out and see who wins, bro. That's what it comes down to. Let's see what we can let them. Let's see if we can fight them out. All right, Saints for Life says video HC head coach and OC that gives you better ideas about Spencer New Orleans. Okay, all right, shout out to them, man. All right, Backwoods says, are we going to see if Spencer got that rattler in him? Yeah, that rattlesnake in him. We'll see. All right, KT says Ram has a degenerative knee issue. Indeed, man. Yeah, and that's been bugging him for a long time, man. The Saints really hid that key from us because we didn't realize, because they ain't tell you how bad it was until last year. Like you'd start realizing. I knew there was rumors about him. And the question I was asking, like, man, he been dealing with that knee issue. It happened, right after not right directly after, but a little bit after he signed that contract. And he got hurt. And ever since he got that big contract for the Saints, been battling that injury. And he hadn't taken the time to properly get it taken care of. It's career threatening. There is no way you need to be getting minor surgery on a career threatening knee issue. You need major surgery to get that together. And if you can't play football again, it's just what it is. At least you can be able to walk. I would, what's the give and get right here? If you want to put it on a scale, would you rather want to walk right, or you just want to, what's more important here? Your body or playing a game. I mean, it's up to him to make that decision. Jason Fox, if he retires, we'll have cap hit to get solid tackle, the new OC. Can find Swarm says talking about Pro Bowl potential. Penix has all the Pro Bowl potential. PFF gives Rattler a 76.6 overall grade. They give Penix an elite grade of 91.1. He is. That's what I'm saying about the only knock they got is they talk about his age and his injury history, but they always deflect away from his statistics. You can't say that he came from a small school. And that's why I said I watched Penix play. I watched him play. He could play. Now, like I said, that could be a problem for the Saints in the future, man. He's going to be a problem for the Saints in the future because they're going to protect him. He has a rushing attack, and he'll have weapons all the way around him. Trust and believe, fam. Them people headed in the right direction. I don't know where we going, but they're headed in the right direction. Jace Fobbs, can you look up Purdy's grade coming? Oh, he's asking the Swarm. KT says, Q, have you checked out the receiver from Idaho, Jermaine Jackson, Deontay Hardy 2.0? Yeah, I was reading some stuff. I hadn't seen his footage yet, but I'm going to get into it. KT. Spicy Rice says Carr leads the league in fourth quarter, comes back despite having no number one receiver or defense. Let's hope we can continue that trend. Saints for Life said, according to Spencer. Oh, yeah, I read this one before. Yeah. All right. And Swarm says people underestimate Bo Nix. Yeah, I got it. Joe Dog says Bo Nix and Michael Penix. All right. Russell says Peyton is a quitter. He made Breeze and Breeze made him. Yeah, it's crazy because it was people, and I say this all the time because I'm a Saint historian and I don't romanticize history. And I say this before, it's like when Drew came here, Drew really didn't want to come to New Orleans. He wanted to go to Miami. And Nick Saban was the coach for 1 year. He was the coach and general manager for Miami. He did that right after he left from LSU. He took the Miami job. He did that for 1 year, went 8-8, then he went to Alabama. He was the head coach and general manager. That was the deal that he made with them. He just had a decision to make between Drew Brees and Dante Culpepper, and he chose Dante Culpepper. The loser of whatever the person who they didn't want, we got. So if they would have selected Drew, we would have got Culpepper, and vice versa. And that's how it happened. So that's because Drew didn't want to come to New Orleans, man. New Orleans was decimated by the storm. He was looking to go to a place like Miami. That's where he wanted to go. Nobody wanted to come down here because we was coming off of losing and stuff like that. Sean Payton took the job, and Sean wasn't who Tom Benson wanted. Tom Benson was trying to get Gary Kubiak as the coach. He wanted Gary Kubiak, but Gary Kubiak wanted to be the New Orleans Saints coach, but he wanted Tom Benson to match the contract that the Texans gave him because the Texans wanted him. And he said, listen, he brung the contract. He brung his offer to Tom Benson and said, could you match this? If you match this, we good. Tom Benson said, no, I'm not matching that. I'm going to go with Peyton. That's how it played. So it is weird. Then you get them together, and then they work together for many years. Drew knows the system so well that he basically runs it on the field, him and Sean Payton, or with that and the third. And Mickey Loomis also is in the mix because Sean Payton is telling Mickey Loomis what to do. Mickey, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. And Mickey went and made groceries. whatever a grocery list he gave him, he went and made groceries for him. He made groceries for him. So it's kind of weird how all that works, and it worked out, man. And they kind of made each other, man. And you can see how Mickey Loomis is kind of lost without Sean Payton's guidance, man. All right, Hemisphere says Peyton ran Drew Brees to the ground. That's true, he did. Sean didn't want to invest time in developing the QB to take Drew's place, knowing Drew needed to retire. That's true, and they didn't really have a backup plan either. They did bring in guys like Teddy Bridgewater and promised him that he'll be the future quarterback, and then he'll end up telling somebody else that. He did that like 2 or 3 years in a row where he was just playing all these little weird games. He told Teddy Bridgewater said that. He said that's why he signed to come back with the Saints, because he said that Sean Payton told him he was going to be the future quarterback of the Saints, and he came back. And then when he tried to circle back to him again for a third time, he told him no. That's how he ended up going to Florida, going out there, because he didn't believe him. I covered this all on the show. They were sitting up there lying to these guys, telling them one thing. You can't be lying to these people. You got to keep it real and tell the truth. But he was lying to them. But yeah, I don't play favorites, bro. I tell the truth. James, what's up, brother? James says, Q, I'm with you. I'm not understanding the bad grades for Penix. It's masterful, in my opinion. That's how you properly transition to today's NFL at the QB. Lions, Steelers, Jags, Falcons. We all have good QB rooms. Indeed, bro. That's how I see it, man. Brother Pat Rich says, Saints are set. We just need that party locker room. Agent Denise is just too tight. I guess he says you don't need the party room. You mean like the Saint Club Saint? We don't need all that. They're going to keep that forever, brother. Japanese Hercules said, do the Saints have any plans to shift Alante Taylor to safety, or are they going to continue to use him at corner? My understanding is they're going to keep him at the corner position. I mentioned this. I talked about this exact same point just yesterday's show. It was either yesterday or Saturday's show. I talked about this same point, that when the Saints drafted Alante Taylor, they drafted him the same year when Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's contract was coming up. Him and Chauncey's contract and Eric McCoy's contract was up at the same time. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson didn't want to come to practice. He was trying to negotiate a contract. He was missing out on practice. And while that was going on, Alante Taylor was in there practicing, getting his game together. Then Chauncey started to come back and play, but he would practice, but he wouldn't practice full practice sessions. He would just practice the half of the session and then go. Then Alante Taylor would step in. So they was trying to negotiate his contract, and he put up a big stink about wanting multi-year deals and all that. And the Saints was willing to give him a multi-year contract, but he wanted to be the top paid nickel back in the game. And at this time, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was fantastic at the spot. He was a little doing too much talking and all that. But outside of that, he was a pretty solid nickel back for us. And you had Alante Taylor. People was asking him what role would Alante Taylor. They were looking at Alante as a cornerback / safety prospect that they can use as a safety. But the moment, when it all went away and Chauncey, wanted to be traded, and Dennis Allen basically traded him for nothing, that's when they decided to keep Alante at the cornerback position. So I think the safety idea went away. I think that's pretty much gone right now. But eventually, like, you got Kool-Aid McKinstry here. I don't think that means Alante goes to safety. I think he's just what he is here for, just to be a future cornerback that steps in. If we can't afford Paulson Adebo, pardon me, we can't afford him, then I go Kool-Aid McKinstry, because his contract is coming up in 2025. Paulson Adebo's is. And the Saints are currently cash strapped. So will they be able to fork over some nice dough to pay Paulson Adebo? Plus the injury situation that happens all the time to our cornerbacks, our top 3 cornerbacks, McKinstry provides a reserve value for there as well. So it's just an insurance no matter how, in both directions, Sam says, I would take Penix as the number 3 QB from the draft. I like the 2nd round grade due to his injury history, but he's definitely the 3rd best talent and ability. Absolutely. You can't get away from that. That's what I was saying. Yeah, they can only put a knock on his injury history and his age, but you look at everything else. Look at his production, look at his leadership, look at his accuracy, look at how many games he played on the big stage. He took Washington to another level, man. Took him to another level. Look, all them talented wide receivers coming out of there that he was thrown to. You know, he put them on the map up there, man. They had a really good team up there, and he was leading them, doing some good stuff. And he, like I said, he beat, like, Bo Nix was ahead of him. They had Bo Nix ahead of Michael Penix during the season. And then when they played head to head, and Penix showed you what time it was. He beat Bo Nix head to head, and that dropped Bo Nix down. But see, that's what I was saying, man. He was the guy, man. He was the guy. I think he's more QB NFL ready than Drake May. He's more QB ready than McCarthy. You know, it's just what it is. You know, Saints for Life says Ramczyk won't be able to move like he's supposed to in a new offense. Yeah, that knee's a problem. Joe says if we could take any QB from the draft, it would be Jaden Daniels. I'm kind of worried he went to the Commanders. Yes, indeed. Survivor says Peyton needs a veteran QB. Hopefully Nick's is cerebral enough for Sean Payton. The nuances in his scheme. All right. Yes. All right. Yeah, Alontae Taylor is pretty good, man. He had some rough bumps last year, but you know how it is. I think it was his second year, wasn't it? So it'd be his third year. Katie says Q outside of Tipton. Who's your favorite undrafted free agent? I actually like Cabody, man, the running back that they picked up, the little undrafted running back they picked up. Go watch some film on Cabody, man. Go watch some film on him. Watch some film on him. He's a pretty good little running back there. Brother James says we need to follow that map at the QB who put heat on Carr. CQ, you peeped how Carr manipulated his other backups besides Rattler. Carr told them to get Hainer, and he called Peterman as backup. Yeah, I've said that, bro. Yeah, I said that. Derek Carr has been doing that, man. I said that. I pinpointed that. I said Derek Carr, they built a very comfortable QB room for Derek Carr. Very comfortable. That's why I'm counting on Clint Kubiak to come here and don't coddle Carr. And I think it shouldn't be about Derek Carr. It really shouldn't be. It should be about the Saints running the football. That's going to get us some W's. Now, every now and again, 1 or 2 games, you'll see Derek Carr. He might go off. But really, it shouldn't be about Derek Carr. It should be about the Saints running the ball and taking the pressure off Carr. He operates off the play action. That's it. I mean, because you're going to need to win. You got to hold. This is a complicated system this guy is trying to bring up in here. He talking about teaching it to him in phases. Like we building the Superdome, or we renovating the Superdome in phases. Well, phase number 1, we're gonna paint the walls. Phase number 2, we gonna tear out these old ass stairs. Phase number 3, we're gonna put holes in the roof, and we're gonna put lights up there. No lights. We're gonna put sunroofs up there. It's gonna look brilliant. It's phase number 4. It's going to be about the business of putting carpet down, baby. It's going to be like an airport. It's going to be lounges here. And, of course, every lounge is going to have a concession stand. And every concession stand going to have $20 nachos, $18 beers. I can see it. We'll make a fortune. We'll make a bloody fortune. And that's what they did. That's pretty much how it goes. That's how I did it. And no, before you ask, no, Reverend Saint had nothing to do with it. But listen, that's what I'm saying, man. Yeah, he did. It's a very comfortable situation for Derek Carr, no doubt. He has Nate Peterman, which is his backup quarterback from the Raiders. Jake Haener is a guy that he handpicked to be his backup, and he said as much as like, yes, when I'm finished playing, Jake Haener could be the guy. Well, he didn't want any competition, and the only competition the Saints had in challenging him was Jameis Winston, and Jameis Winston is a Brown now. Now, Clint Kubiak did get Spencer Rattler here, but it would be a stretch of the imagination to say Spencer Rattler would challenge Derek Carr in any capacity. It's a very safe room for Carr. That's why I'm not counting on Derek Carr in that capacity. I'm looking at the Saints learning to run the football. That's what I'm looking at. Running the football and him operating off the play action. Because of this complicated system, they gotta have to learn it, you know. So shout out to you, Brother James. Thank you. All right, Metro says, can we get to see Kubiak? It says, what Kubiak is going to do with the dual threat running game and Kamara and Williams. I like the way he motions receivers across the field. Yeah, it's a very it's a very fun system. It is. Watching the 49er system, it is very lively. It's a lot of motioning going on, even double motions, guys shifting to the left, running left, and guys back to the right. The defense don't know what's going on. And then the ball is snapped, they shift, the guards are pulling to the right, blocking guys on the angle, freeing up the running back so they can get to the second and third levels. It's going to be beautiful. Hopefully he has the personnel to be able to implement this. But I applaud him saying that we need an identity and we need to run the ball. That's what I'm with that. I've been saying that. Brother Ryan says, why we ain't talking about Dallin Holker making a team? No, I think if he's healthy, he should make the team, bro. He should make the team. I said it when we was talking about it. We talked about the undrafted list of 15 undrafted college free agents that we had. I did that early in the stream. You might want to go back to it. But I talked about Holker. He got the size. He had the catching ability. He's mobile enough. It's questions about his blocking, but I think I was looking at the tape. I think he's a pretty normal blocker. But I also think he can create mismatches for your offense. I think he would be able to climb as far as the third spot in the tight end group, and see, that's the thing about undrafted guys, like especially at the tight end and the safety level. There's a lane for you if you own game. If you own game, there's a lane for you to take for the safety and for the tight end, because we're looking for that guy, because that's who we got sitting on top of the tight end group right now. It was a guy that was the back of the wide receiver room several years ago, and now in a couple of years or 2 or 3 years later, he your best tight end. People forget Juwan Johnson started off as a wide receiver for the Saints. He was at the back of the wide receiver room, the bottom of the chart. They switched his position, and next thing you know, he's the best tight end. He went past Troutman. He went past Nick, what's the guy, Vanette, garbage ass Vanette. He went past all of them, and he the tight end, got paid and everything. So that should be an incentive for a guy like Holker to be able to step his game up and get there. So yeah, I definitely think he can climb. James says, Q, Becton signed with the Eagles. Yeah, we talked about that, bro. The Saints they got a lot of Saints. They don't have a lot of money, bro. So I don't anticipate them making any, and I don't know how much Becton got signed for, but they're not going to do that, bro. They're going to rely on these, our young offensive linemen. They're going to rely on these rookies and what we have to try to win. That's a lot of pressure, but in the end, it's just what it is. It's just where the team is economically, and we should have known that, bro. Eventually, it was going to come to this. Sam says 100%. We can't rely on Carr being the main thing on offense. He's got all the talent you need at QB, but he does have the killer instinct needed to be the main piece of the puzzle. He does have the gambler nature because he's a deep ball thrower. Carr, we can't, we remember to always look at players' nature. They're going to always go back to the nature. You can coach them up as best you can, but remember the nature of the person that is the player. Remember their nature, because they're going to always default back to that. Remember that when you're thinking about these people. And Derek Carr is a deep ball thrower. He's a gunslinger. That's what he is. He's a gunslinger. He loves to throw the ball down the field. That's what he does. And when his arm is right and his mind is right, he can really do that. He's a one-hitter quitter type of dude. Put that ball out there, let Chris Olave, let Rashid Shaheed run up under it and go to the house. That's what he is. Default. That's what he does. He's a gunslinger. And usually when you're a gunslinger, you get in trouble because you try to put the ball somewhere you don't belong. That's why I said minimize him touching the ball to throw it like that by giving him a running attack. At least if you're running the ball effectively, that's one less defensive player in the secondary that he has to worry about throwing an interception to. You get what I'm saying? That's why I said that's why he looked decent. He looked pretty decent against teams later on in the year, because when the Saints started to run the ball, the safety had to commit up to the line of scrimmage. They had to commit to the running attack. And when he get an opportunity to do that, when that play action started working, he get one-on-one opportunities to just throw the ball out there. And our wide receivers are good enough to beat the one-on-one matchups. But if we running the ball effectively, that safety got to come down there and try to help out and run support. And then you got that chance you could throw that ball over the top of his head. That's the idea. It's not, it's not a difficult thing to pick up. We just got to learn that we got to run the ball. That's why I said we got to take it out of his hands, All right. 504 says he said, wait 1 goddamn minute, Q. Them nachos were damn good. Hold on now. Hold on. Let me tell you, wait 1 damn minute. I'll tell you, those nachos were damn good. Mickey, you didn't pay for them nachos. Oh, well, of course not. I'm Big Mickey. I go down there. I get whatever I want. So you go down to the stadium, the arena store, and go in there and get whatever you want. You have to pay for it. You goddamn right. I go down there, buy a buckle. I want a Pelican shirt. I go and get it. I'm Big Mickey. I got it. I got it. Oh yeah. Mickey don't pay for no nacho, man. Mickey don't pay for nothing down there. Ty says, I'm excited about the tight end from Colorado. Yeah, we just talked about him. Yeah, Holker's going to be good, bro. We should be excited about it. He's one of those free agents that we should like a lot. Like we just talked about. KT just talked about it. Cabody, Jacob Cabody, from Lafayette. And then you have the safety from TCU. That's what's his name? Bradford. Oh, let me pull the list up. I don't even have to try to guess at it. Let me just pull my list up here. Yes. Yeah, Millard Bradford from TCU. The Saints picked up 1 safety in free agency. Now, whether they sign another guy and bring him in, we'll see. But for right now, as far as the undrafted guy is concerned, Millard Bradford, he's undersized, but he's a good safety. He can climb the chart a little bit. They like their defensive ends, but I don't see these guys getting like the DEs. The defensive end position is so crowded right now. I don't see a lot of these guys kind of catching on there at the defensive end position. Linebacker is crowded, but the secondary does have some spots because we do have some opportunities in the secondary, to be honest with you. But like I said, one of my favorite, like remembering these guys like Cabody from Lafayette, watch his tape, very exciting running back. And then you call about Dalen Holker from Colorado State. So the kid could play, like I just talked about him. Another guy I talked about, an undersized wide receiver from Yale, Tipton, that KT was congratulating me on. But yeah, Mason Tipton from Yale, y'all need to look him up too. These are good football players. Now Tipton's undersized, but incredibly productive, really solid wide receiver. And he got the intelligence too. So those are a couple of the guys, man, that y'all need to do some research on, man. Check them guys out. All right. KT says, I'm telling you, don't sleep on Jermaine. Oh, I'm going to look him up, KT. I'm going to look up Jermaine Jackson. Don't take it personal. Kyle Sheets, I'm going to look him up too. I heard of Kyle Sheets from Slippery Rock. Yeah, I heard of Kyle Sheets. But yeah, I'm going to look up Jermaine Jackson, KT. You don't take it personal, brother. All right, backwoods. Alker can catch the ball for sure. Saints for Life says, I was surprised we landed Colorado State tight end. He has good speed. Yeah, he slipped through the cracks. Jermaine, what's up, bro? Says, do you think Radley can take Carr's job? Not right away. I don't think nobody right now can take Carr's job away. I think it's a great distance, a gap between where Rattler's at and where Carr's at. Carr's $150 million quarterback that the Saints will give every opportunity to hold that position because they need to justify the money, and his success is based on their success. If he fails, Dennis Allen fails, and it probably means that Dennis Allen will be fired. So they're looking for him to kind of step his game up and be all world, so to speak. They're going to try to protect him the best way they can. So I see it's a great distance between anybody else that's in the quarterback room not named Derek Carr. Todd says, Kubiak says he wants to be successful running the ball against 8-man fronts. Yes, we just talked about that. Just mentioned it. 504 Coles, thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Frederick, shout out to you, my brother. Brother Terrence says, next month, rookie minicamp should be interesting. Yes, sir. May the 10th for 2 days. It's May the 10th to 12th, I want to say. Saints for Life says, TCU safety looks legit. He plays He got some speed on him. It's just the size thing, and he was kind of productive for TCU. Yeah, those are three guys that I really like. Brother Brian says the Saints are like a damn bad girlfriend. They keep drawing me back in. I'm excited about this season. Yeah, bad girlfriend, bro. Damn. Yeah, you got to watch out for that, brother. Yeah, but see, with your ex-girlfriends, bro, some people have this thing where I don't know, that's not me. Like if you dated, like really, you just had just a little short fling with a girl, and you be like, well, whatever. But if you like dated a woman and you was with her for a while, and then it depends on how y'all end. Because naturally, if you don't end good, you ain't gonna want nothing to do with them, And it really depends, man. It really depends. So, you hang around your ex-girlfriends, that flame gonna kick up. And that old flame gonna kick up. So, if you don't want to be a person that cycle back, you want to be progressive. You don't want to be caught in the cycle. You want to progress further and just keep on moving and grooving. And you might want to keep some distance, because unless y'all both change, you're probably going to end up getting the same result. Somebody got to change. Somebody's got to change. Mindsets, something, things have to change. People got to see fault. You can't blame it on the other person because you might have done something and you did together and bam, bam, bam. So, you just got to keep it pushing, baby. Keep it pushing. Don't let Reverend Say tell you that, though. Backwoods said Jackson will be returning punch. You think so? Jason Fiver said that dude Hawker. So yeah. That's clear. I thought he should have gotten drafted though. He should have really got drafted. All right, fam. So listen, man, we're gonna get ready to get out on this thing. Listen, man, I appreciate y'all for chiming in on the episode of the Coma, man. Listen, we're gonna be back on Monday, family. We're gonna be popping back up on Monday. We're gonna be talking and going over some more Saints related stuff, man. But yes, they're gonna have a few to Saints. Don't be surprised if Saints make some moves and sign a few free agents, man. Veterans, that is. But like I said, the Saints cap situation. Hold on, let me kind of go into that because I know eventually we're gonna start looking at that because they're gonna have to sign some of these guys down the line. Hold on, give me a second, fam. Let me kind of get the Saints cap situation right quick. I think we're just still over 8 million right now. Yeah, just over 8 million in cap right now. The Saints are as a team, so that should be changing. Down the line, it's the Saints. After the draft, they look to try to sign some of their free agents, so that's going to take a little bit of that 8 million and spend a few bucks on a veteran, maybe one or two veterans to come in. I'm thinking around the offensive line, that type of thing. But I'm not expecting like this free agent period. Seems like the Saints are not going to have a lot of going ons in terms of signing veterans and all this. They seem like they're going to kind of keep it pretty cheap, and and try to find cheap guys to kind of fill in with that. Katie says, Q, Reverend Saint and Slick Mickey were in Ross is arguing over the last pound of Cajun turkey. Hold on, baby. Baby, let me tell you something. That's my damn turkey. I don't know where you come from. I was standing up here and that old girl over there, she seen me, baby. Baby, don't play with me here. Baby, see, they cutting that stuff with that thing over there, baby. I don't need them to do that. Baby, I got this on me right now, baby. Baby, I'll cut you down the middle, baby. Baby, I'll slice and dice you, baby. Oh, hold on now. What the? Hold on, guy. Hold on, that's enough turkey for everybody. What are you talking about? That's ridiculous. Oh, hold on, baby. Baby, don't call me. You called me what? I didn't say anything. Hold on, look, I know who you are. Reverend Saint, listen, I heard of you. I'll tell you something. I don't want to be mean, but I keep that thing on me. I don't want to. I'll set it off in here. Baby, you can set it off all you want, baby. Baby, let me tell you something, baby. I got you, baby. That's how it would go. It would be a bad situation. Reverend Saint ain't sharing his Cajun turkey with nobody. And Slick Mickey trying to back down. Slick, hold on, I got that thing. I ain't with Reverend Saint. I'm gonna tell you something. You messed up. You brought a knife to a gunfight. Oh yeah. Oh, it'll be something terrible, man. We don't need to see that, man. We don't need to see that at all, brother. We don't need to see that at all.
Oh, you brought a knife to a gunfight. Oh, I got you. I won.
Yeah, we don't need to see that, Mickey. Don't hurt him. All right. So anyway, with that being said, fam, listen, I'm going to get ready to get out on that, man. Listen, I appreciate y'all for chiming in on the show. Y'all, do me a service, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on social media. I will be back on Monday. We'll cover some more Saint-related content as well. Also, the Pelicans play tomorrow. Could possibly be they're facing elimination. Pelican post-game report is our other platform. If y'all want to look that up, you can feel free to go to YouTube, just put Pelican post-game report in there and subscribe. We do Pelican content. For those who might not know, Pelicans facing elimination tomorrow. Willie Green came out in a press conference and spoke about adding some more offense. So does Jordan Hawkins, does Matt Ryan, does those guys get an opportunity to play? Talked about that on the show. Like I said, man, been doing that show for years, man. And every time we talk about something, them people always turn around and do what we talked about. It's weird, huh? Real weird, huh? But anyway, with that being said, I'm going to get out on this, man. Y'all have a fantastic rest of y'all night, man. And I'm going to holler at y'all on tomorrow on regular stream and also on the Pelican Post Game Report. Much love, and who that to?
Yeah. Like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform's store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember,